Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
What is up, folks? Coach B back with the NExT podcast, and we are doing something a little bit different here. The NExT podcast was something that I wanted to do for a long time. We did it for a while, then I took a break, and then we did it for a while, and then I took a break, and then I did it for a while, I took a break, because it's just hard to sustain. It's difficult. So we're going to give this another shot. We're going to give this another go. We have a whole list of things that we can cover on the NExT podcast, and for those of you guys watching on YouTube, hi YouTube, the lovely lady sitting across the table from me, this is TJ, Coach TJ. Say hi.
Hey, everybody.
So she's going to be with me on here as a co-host and try this out, see if she really likes this podcast thing. You already mentioned you don't like the sound of your own voice.
It's true. I don't like listening to myself at all.
I don't know many podcasters that really do. Like, we like to hear ourselves talk in the moment, but then going back and listen to it, you're like,
yeah.
Oh, God, I sound like an idiot.
Well, I just don't like the sound of it. Like, I don't mind necessarily what I'm saying. It's just the sound.
Okay.
It's just, I don't.
That's fair.
I've always been like that. Even I do home videos and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'd hate watching them because I didn't want to hear myself talk.
Yeah. You're like, oh, God, why?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, one of the big reasons we're kicking this back off is, one, because I just want to put good information out there as much as I can. So I try to do that through my social channels, and I'm always firing stuff off there. But then also, this just gives us another opportunity, another channel to have good conversations, have good dialogue, and educate people on the stuff that we're passionate about.
Right.
Which is, so NExT, for those of you guys who don't know or maybe have forgotten, the reason I call it the NExT podcast, NExT stands for nutrition, exercise, and triumph. It's the three things that I think are like kind of central to life. So like you should eat well and you should train for sure. So eating well and exercise. And then triumph, that's winning at life, whether that's controlling how you sleep, controlling how you think, controlling how you connect with people, controlling how you react to bad situations. Like all of that becomes really important. Mm-hmm. So that's the NExT podcast. And so I want to bring it back to continue pushing that platform. And it starts with a really difficult challenge that came out of my brain. And I'm fully going to admit this is spurred on by one of the guys that I follow, and he did a similar challenge. And I'm like, you know what? I can do the same thing. So,
a challenge to create a challenge.
Challenge to create a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So, the challenge is called 100 Days of Excellence. Okay. So, if you take this challenge, if you decide to take the challenge, anytime you post something about this on social media, we're going to use the hashtag 100 DOE, 100 Days of Excellence. Mm-hmm. So that's the challenge, and we're going to kind of kick this off. So now I hand you the main thing, and now you get to soft toss me all this good stuff.
All right. So what brought on this challenge? Like, what made you want to really do this and create your own challenge for 100 Days of Excellence? 100 days is a long time. Like, that's about 3.5 months, right? Like, it's a long time. So what made you do this and maybe even pick that amount of time?
Yeah. So 100 days is just a nice round number.
Yeah.
Like, there's no there's no method behind the madness of 100 other than 100 is a nice round number to pick off. And it just, I don't know, that ease of math in my head.
Okay.
And the idea of the challenge of being 100 Days of Excellence is setting up something that pushes anybody who takes a challenge to push towards excellence. So every Friday I write what I call an excellence email. So it goes out to our email list. By the way, if you're not on that, you can be. Just let me know. And so every Friday, it's mindset stuff, it's attitude stuff, it's stuff that's pushing us towards being the best possible version of ourselves.
Okay.
So the way I've kind of landed on defining excellence as it, pertains to us as human beings is the consistent, persistent pursuit of the best version of us.
Okay.
Right? And so if we're constantly striving towards excellence with that kind of phrase in mind, then how do we do that? Like, how do we even lay a foundation for that?
Yeah. Where's your baseline?
Right. How do I make myself better without like some kind of framework or guideline? Because I've talked to people like, dude, I want to be better. I just don't know where to start.
But better how, too.
Exactly.
You got to have a specific goal in mind of whether you want to be better in life, be a better husband, wife, better athlete. Like, you got to have something specific.
Right. So the idea here is building the discipline of self-control.
Okay.
Right. And it's everything that is everything that is a rule of this challenge is each one of these rules is very simple. Some of these things, people are going to be like, dude, that's easy. I already do that. Great. Good for you. The challenge is going to be to do that every single day for 100 days.
Right.
And there are 10 rules.
Okay.
Out of those 10 rules, I guarantee you there is going to be something out of those 10 that you are on the struggle bus with.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. And when I created this list not just with anybody else in mind, but with myself in mind too. Like, I put stuff on this list that's going to be hard for me too.
Right.
Right. And that's the other thing too is I'm going to take this challenge as well. Like, this podcast is going to drop on a Friday.
Okay.
So the following Monday, which will be the 22nd, so this will drop on, the 19th.
Okay.
It'll start on the 22nd, will be the first kind of iteration of the challenge. Now, you can join at any time.
Right.
But that's when I'm starting. And I encourage everybody else to kind of go along with me so we can have a support group. And we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Each of these 10 things is simple in and of itself.
Okay.
Difficult to follow through with 100 consecutive days.
Yeah.
For sure. And some of this stuff, like I said, some people I already do that. I don't know what your problem is. Great. There's something on this list I promise you will struggle with.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
All right. So let's go ahead and go over those rules. You said there's 10, right?
Right.
All right. So let's go through them. So rule number 1, drink at least 100 ounces of water a day. Okay. So, I mean, I guess people don't probably think about measuring out their water and knowing exactly how much they drink or anything like that. So
yeah. So that comes from the impetus of most people don't drink enough water throughout the day. They drink soda and they drink Crystal Light and they drink Gatorade and they drink, mocha chocolate bullshit from Starbucks. They don't drink water.
Right.
So this is specifically, I don't care what else you drink, but you have to drink 100 ounces of water a day. Now, why 100? You should drink about half your body weight in ounces of water. Okay. So for some folks, somebody like you who does not weigh 200 pounds,
right.
That's going to be a little more than that number.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
It's not going to hurt you.
No, it's just going to help with your hydration, and it's potentially going to make you not go and drink some of those other things.
Right.
Because drinking 100 ounces of water for the first few days, and for some people the first few weeks, you're going to have to pee like every 20 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
So you're not going to want to drink any of the other stuff.
Yeah.
So it's an easy place to start. Get a water bottle and drink, figure it out. Like, okay, I got a 20-ounce water bottle. I need to drink 5 of these a day.
Yeah.
Get a gallon jug, something like, I don't care, but 100 ounces every day. If you go over, cool, but at least 100 ounces.
Okay. All right. Number 2, read 10 pages in a personal development book per day and tell the group what book you are reading each time you start a new book.
So part of this is we'll start a Facebook group.
Okay.
So when you start a new book or whatever book you choose to start with, like, let everybody know, because some people are like, dude, I don't even know where to start with that.
Right.
If we have a list built in that group of books that people have read or are reading or are going to read.
Recommendations.
Exactly.
Anything, yeah.
Then it's just going to help those folks that don't know what to read go pick a book and read. Right. So I wanted to be very specific about what kind of book. We are reading nonfiction books. We are specifically reading personal development type of books. Okay. I'm going to start a reading list, a recommended reading list. There's a ton of really great books out there that that I've read that have influenced me.
Yeah.
And helped me become better and change my mindset. And like the crazy thing about it is I didn't enjoy reading. Like for my undergrad, I had to read a lot. When I started my master's degree, I had to read even more. It was mandated for that degree. It was a crazy amount of reading. So I was burned out.
Right.
And reading was never something I did for pleasure. Once I read my first like personal development book, I got hooked because it gave me stuff to think about. It gave me stuff to chew on. All right, what's the next lesson? What's the next lesson? What's this person say about that? And it just continued to push me to be better. And that's where we're going to start with that. Reading 10 pages a day means that for most of those books, you will finish about a book a month.
Okay.
Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, just depending on the length of the book.
Right.
But you're going to read about a book a month, which means that you're going to read 12 books, maybe 15 a year, just reading a book.
Yeah.
And 10 pages is not that difficult. 10 pages, I'm a slow reader. 10 pages sometimes, depending on how my focus is, 10 pages sometimes takes me a half hour.
Right. Well, and I've heard like, this could be an old myth or something. You're not supposed to read like longer than like 20 minutes, like at a time or something, just based on like eyesight, even like just so it doesn't mess. I don't like I said it could be a myth. I don't know, but
I don't know. Like when it comes to stuff like that, it's just like the goal of 10 pages is more about like giving
attainable.
It gives you an attainable benchmark.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Attainable is good because 10 pages it's really not that difficult.
Yeah.
Right. Like you have guys who like on the high end, you have like Warren Buffett. The dude reads like 5 newspapers before breakfast every day. I'm like, wow.
Where do you even get 5 newspapers?
Well, when you're Warren Buffett, they
I
just bring them to you.
I guess,
right?
yeah. I want one from this state and right here. And
I need one from that country and that country.
exactly.
Wow. That's at an absurd level, and that's okay. Like that's where he's at. Like, but you got to start somewhere,
Right?
And 2 pages is not enough. Like I know people who sit down and they read like 2 pages. Okay, that's enough, dude. No, you've got to get through more than that.
Well, and I feel like 2 pages isn't going to really give you anything either. Like 10 pages is maybe a chapter, maybe more, maybe less, and so that at least that'll give you a decent amount of information to where you can actually, like, obtain something from reading
like
that.
process it.
Yeah.
Right. And it's at least 10 pages. So if you want to read more, dude, if you get into the book and like you're like, oh my gosh, I'm learning something.
Right.
Go past the 10.
Okay.
It's fine. But you got to read at least 10.
Okay. Okay. So, okay.
There you go.
All right. Number 3, work out at least 45 minutes each day, 3 days per week, and it must be outside.
So.
3 days per week must be outside. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is where, like in the training world, you're going to have trainers go, you can't do that to people. They need a rest day. No, you don't.
You really don't.
No, you really don't. And that's not saying that every day you work out for 45 minutes has to be like a go hard, like obliterate yourself.
RPE stupid fast?
RPE stupid fast. Workout. It doesn't have to be that. You could do a 45-minute like restorative recovery yoga session.
Right.
And that counts. The idea is to be intentionally active for 45 minutes a day. But I put a caveat in here.
Okay.
3 days a week. So you're going to work out 7 days a week.
Okay.
3 of those days, you have to go outside and work out. Whether that's going on a 45-minute walk, a 45-minute run, or taking the gear that you're working out with outside and working out outside.
Taking that yoga mat outside.
Right, take the yoga mat outside. Grab your dumbbells and go outside. Go in the park. Whatever. Make up a workout in the park.
Do pull-ups on the jungle gym.
Right, exactly. Be outside.
Okay.
There's 2 big time reasons for this, and I may think of others as I talk, but the 2 big time ones are, number 1, we are inside all day long, for the most part. There are some people that have outdoor jobs. Cool, awesome, still going to work out 3 days a week outside. But for most people, we're inside. Like, we get up and we go from our house to our garage into our car, or maybe you're outside for just a couple of minutes to get to your car in the parking lot of your apartment complex.
Right.
And then you're in your car, and then you park for work, and you walk inside, and you're inside basically all day, if not all day. And then you do the same thing. You walk to your car, you drive home, you go back inside. Our bodies need extended exposure to sunlight. We need it. There are processes in our body that are unlocked by exposure to sunlight. That's why people who live like in coastal regions, everybody's like, oh, they have such great weather. That's why they're so healthy and happy all the time. No, it's because they're outside all the time.
Yeah.
Now, I get it. Like, sometimes the weather sucks, and that's the other piece of this. This is kind of the first step into that mentality. Like, drinking water, that's just discipline. Reading 10 pages, you got to learn from somebody else how to get better. Right? This is mental toughness, is what this is. You have to pick 3 days a week to be outside. Now, if you're smart, you're going to look at the weather and go, okay, these 3 days are going to be nice days. I'm going to go outside at these days. Or you're going to say, okay, it's going to be 120 degrees today. I'm going to go work out first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Right? But the idea is, like, maybe you go through the week and you go Monday through Thursday and you've been inside all 4 days. Now you got to do 3 days in a row outside. If it's raining outside, tough luck.
Right.
You're going to run in the rain. You're going to work out in the rain. Now, don't be an idiot. If there's a tornado, if there's a bomb cyclone, don't go outside in the middle of it.
Fine.
Right? Like, I could just...
But Brandon said.
Exactly. But he said I had... No, don't. Use your brain. Wait for the storm.
I don't see that in the rules to use the brain now. Maybe we should add that in there
Maybe
just as a disclaimer or something.
So that's, and here's the thing, working out at 45 minutes a day is not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It's really, really not. If you can't carve out 45 minutes to take care of your own personal health, you're not ready to make a change.
Right.
You're not. And like I said, it doesn't have to, you don't have to do CrossFit every single day. You don't have to do P90 every day. You don't have to hit a hardcore bodybuilding session you don't have to do that. But you need to be intentionally physically active for 45 minutes a day.
Okay. I'd say that's fair enough. Number 4, choose a diet and stick to it. No cheat days or cheat meals.
Yes. So this comes from, again, discipline. Like, it's kind of hand in hand with the water thing. Like, we'll do really good for like 2 weeks on a diet, and then, like, oh, it's Susie's birthday in the office, I'm gonna have a piece of cake,
Right.
and that's at 10:30, and then lunch comes around and everybody wants to go out to lunch for Susie's birthday, and you're like, oh, well, I already had a piece of cake, so I'm just gonna blow my diet for the day,
Right.
and it's fine. No, stop that. Right? So I'll use myself as case in point. Like, when this starts, the thing that's going to be difficult for us is we do pizza movie night with our kids.
Okay.
So we sit down and we watch a movie and we eat pizza. Like, that's what we do, right? And then Sunday mornings, we do fun breakfast with the kids. So, like, our kids, Monday through Saturday for breakfast, we eat eggs, fruit, and nuts. So that's what I eat. That's what my kids eat. On Sunday mornings, I'll get up and I'll make them French toast or waffles, or maybe I went and got them some cereal and some milk, just because they're kids and we should have fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to do that with them, and then also not eat that stuff.
Okay, so, like, I mean, there's certain diets that I guess can allow, like, your pizza night, like, say you're just trying to work on making sure you get all your carbs for that day, or the macros and stuff like that, like, and it's, in a sense, works for that diet. Like, that's, you're not saying to completely cut that out. It's just make it work in a sense, right?
Right. So, like, so what you're talking about is, like, what do they call it? The flexible dieting, right?
Okay.
If it fits my macros.
Right.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. The danger there, though, is if you do that to yourself, it is really easy to lose control.
Okay.
It's really easy in those moments to lose control. Not saying that everybody will.
Right.
But if you think about the typical person that really wants to change things in their lives, they typically lack the discipline to say no beyond a certain point.
Right.
Right? Like, if your macros allow for it, you can have a piece or 2 pieces of pizza.
Mm-hmm.
How many of us have the discipline to have just 2 pieces of pizza?
Right. Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So although that is technically within the rules,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I would suggest it.
Okay.
The idea here is trying to clean up your diet, tighten it up,
Mm-hmm.
and for 100 days. I'm not asking you to eat like this for a lifetime.
Right.
I'm asking you for 100 days, eat clean, within a calorie count, within a macro budget, whatever
Okay.
that looks like, and be smart.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to fail.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
If you know you have no self-control, it's that old adage. If you know you can't swim, keep yourself out of the pool.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
If I know I have no self-control with, I'll use my vice as an example. I have no self-control with corn chips. So
Okay.
you know what I don't have in my house? Corn chips.
Makes sense.
Right?
Mhm.
Don't set yourself up for failure
Okay.
because you're using a diet that allows for it.
Okay.
Right?
Mhm.
So technically the rules allow for, if it fits my macros, then
Mhm.
it fits. Okay, do that. But don't end up screwing yourself.
Right. But then
Long-term.
stick to your rules.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that one's hard because it does, you're right.
Mhm.
It allows some of that fudge room. Be careful,
Mm-hmm.
be smart, and we'll get to why at the end of this.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Number 5. No alcohol, no weed, no drugs.
So no alcohol. This one's really straightforward. Alcohol is catabolic.
Mm-hmm.
Slows down your metabolism, makes you retain fat. It's not I don't care how many studies you point to. It says, oh, a glass of wine is good for your health. A beer is good for your health. No, it's not. Alcohol is ethanol. Ethanol it's a toxin to human beings.
Okay.
That's why it jacks us up. It's
Mhm.
why we get the buzz feeling. It's a toxin.
Mm-hmm.
It's a low level toxin that we have a built-in tolerance for to a certain point.
Right.
But that's why there's such a thing as alcohol poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
Alcohol is not good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Period. It's fun. It can be enjoyable,
Mm-hmm.
but it is in no way, shape, or form good for you.
Okay.
So no alcohol, and it'll defeat the purpose,
Yeah.
right? If I'm trying to control my body and hold that discipline, and then also for a lot of people, this is going to be a weight loss thing. You're going to lose weight.
Yeah.
Alcohol is going to stop that from happening.
Mm-hmm.
The no weed thing, I put that in here because it's Colorado,
And it's not a drug.
right? It's not a drug, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing with weed. I really don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I should add to this no tobacco, which would be that's going to be super difficult for a lot
Yeah.
of people. A lot of people. In fact, I'm working with clients who part of their journey right now is they made a decision to quit tobacco, whatever it was, smoke or chew, and it's hard for them.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard. Here's why. It's the same thing as alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
There is no part of what is in the weed or tobacco that is actually healthy for you. Now, you could argue that, weed helps me with this, that, or the other thing. You can get those same benefits from supplementing a CBD oil,
Right.
without the
THC.
Without the THC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, removing smoking weed from your daily regimen will make it a whole lot easier to stick to your diet.
Okay. Yeah, because then you won't get the munchies.
Right. And really, again, I'm not saying blanket statement. Don't ever do this ever again.
Right.
I'm
Just for
saying
the 100
for
days.
100 days,
Mhm.
be and live excellent.
Mhm.
Step away from it for 100 days. And a lot of people who are going to fight me on any of these rules, I want you to notice which rules you're going to fight me on.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Those are the things that you have an emotional attachment to, that you've built parts of your life around,
Right.
that maybe you shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mhm.
So, and then the no drugs thing. That's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop justifying that.
Mm-hmm.
I only roll X on the weekends with my friends. Stop.
I only shoot up 3 times a day. It's fine.
Yeah. None of that stuff is good for you.
Right.
It's just not.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you can justify that it's good for you. So
Mhm.
just stop. And we put those all things in the same region. Because it tears down your discipline. It tears down the inside of your body.
Yeah.
There's
messes
really,
with your brain.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So there's no good that can come of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just not.
Yeah.
So
I completely agree. No thanks. All right, number 6, no porn.
no porn. Now here's the crazy thing. So I'm going to say somewhere in the ballpark about 10 to 15 years ago, there were groups that came online that really started studying the impact of pornography because porn hit this level where there is a multi-billion dollar a year industry.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a lot of people that say, oh, porn is healthy for your sexuality and things like that. Here's the problem. Pornography rewires your brain to the point that you have trouble interacting intimately with another human being.
Okay.
And they started that research really about 15, 20 years ago is when it really started taking off. And at that point when they started the research, pornography use was about 70 to 80% men, and then again 20 to 30% women. Now it's almost half.
Wow.
It's almost in the middle. Okay. And here's why. Porn is easy.
Yeah.
It's easy, right? It requires nothing from you. You're getting that endorphin release and that endorphin shock without having to put in any actual work into a relationship with another human being. And we are seeing now that it actually, like I said, rewires your brain so that you have trouble or an inability to be intimate with another human being.
Yeah.
Because the stimulus isn't the same.
Yeah,
like we're
you don't
actually
have
seeing,
that same emotional or even physical interaction to do with an
actual human being.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and really the bottom line of this is if we're working towards excellence, the path to excellence is not the easy route.
Yeah.
It's not. And porn is easy. It like the amount of free porn that's out there, like you don't have to do much.
Yeah.
Like you can just put into Google porn and the amount of stuff that comes up is insane.
Yeah.
Right? And then boom, you get your rocks off, you move on with your day. Right? It required zero effort from you.
Right.
Like that's not what we're about.
Yeah. Right.
This goes hand in hand with the alcohol. That was an unintentional pun. It goes along with the alcohol, the weed, the drugs.
Yeah.
Right. It's those things are easy. And if we're going towards excellence, there is no room for easy. Yeah. You have to challenge yourself. And again, this is something that people are going to get emotional about. Like, you can't tell me that that's not healthy. It helps me a lot. You know what it does is it rewires your brain to think it helps you. Right. But what we know now about all of these things is that the way it remaps your brain makes it harder for you to interact with other human beings. In fact, so when it comes to porn, I'm just going to say this really quick and then we move on. But, okay. So they started noticing a drop in the marriage rates in England. Okay. And so they looked at that. And what they found was it was because young men, particularly, I'm not picking on millennials, but particularly of the millennial age, we're not getting married and we're not seeking romantic relationships. And we're, in fact, in many cases, not even leaving their flat, their apartment, because they could have food delivered, they can work and earn money online, they can have anything that they want delivered to them online, and they had online porn. They had no need
to interact.
An intimate partner.
Wow.
So they had no need for human interaction at all, other than maybe saying hi to the delivery guy. Yeah. And that's it. Jeez. That is a problem.
This is why I don't consider myself a millennial, because I grew up being the one out of me and my siblings. I was the one who had to call Pizza Hut because they didn't want to talk on the phone. Yeah. I'm the one who had to make the calls.
That's awesome.
So I just I can't even put myself with them just because human interaction is so important. You can be shy or something, but you're at least still getting that human interaction where it makes you comfortable. And it's just
interpersonal skills are so essential to the human existence. In fact, and it's something that we'll eventually get to talking about. But so like here we have something. It's the 5 stars of complete health, and one of them is connection to other human beings.
Yeah.
What we're finding now, like we're looking at all those people who have lived to 100 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and you have all these like 100-year-old plus people who some of them ate healthy their whole life and exercised every day and worked well and like all this other stuff. And some of them work until they're 100 or more.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. It's cool to see. Everybody's like, see, they're just hardworking. And that's a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
What we're finding though, because like then on the flip side of it, you have somebody who they ate bacon and smoked and drank a pot of coffee every day and they're still 100 plus years old.
Mm-hmm.
Like they should have died like 25 years ago. What the hell's going on?
Right.
And what they're finding is the people that are living to 100 years old or more, the key, the connecting point is their number of deep, meaningful relationships with other human beings. Not virtual connection.
Yeah.
Not I know somebody who knows somebody. Like actual, deep, meaningful relationship. You know my skeletons, I know your skeletons.
Right.
Relationships with other human beings.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's pushing these people to 100 years old.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Like you, not like to necessarily bring up any sort of touchy subject or anything, but if you notice, like at least with suicide rates, like those people just tend to they isolate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just what they do before they end up doing anything. Is they isolate themselves, and that's when they need those deeper connections to live longer. Like it all connects.
Yeah. So removing porn removes you from that pathway.
Yeah.
It just does.
Yeah.
And it will actually start to make you like if you're somebody who interacts with porn on a regular basis, like you will start to notice, it'll take a couple of weeks, you'll start to notice your ability to acknowledge the presence of other human beings and interact with other human beings will change.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll get more joy and peace from it.
Yeah.
So there we go.
All right. Number 7, make your bed every day first thing.
So for those of you guys who have never seen it, jump on YouTube and Google make your day speech or make your bed speech.
Okay.
So this guy, Admiral, I think is William McRaven. I don't know if that's his first name, but it's Admiral McRaven.
Okay.
Gave a commencement speech in 2008 at the University of Texas. And his whole thing was that particular class had the potential within a generation to actually change the world, right? And he said, if you want to change the world, start by making your bed.
Okay.
That was the start of the speech, which was pretty, like, you're like, make your bed, what? And he goes on to say, look, if you get up in the morning and you make your bed, you've accomplished the first task of the day. So now you've actually done something. So you feel at least a tiny bit of accomplishment,
Okay.
right? Like a lot of people, they go to a job where they're constantly told they're doing shit wrong. If you did that one thing, that's at least to yourself, like, I did that and I did that right. Like, so that's a good feeling. And you start yourself off with a win for the day. So even if the rest of the day goes horrible sideways, you come home and you come home to a made bed, a bed that you made.
Yeah.
And now you hold some promise that tomorrow will be better.
Okay.
Right? And it just goes into that discipline thing. Like, if you get up in the morning, and then, so that's kind of the next rule too, and make your bed first thing, you're establishing discipline and you're establishing a win for the day.
Okay.
So it goes hand in hand with the next rule.
All right. Number 8, get up at the same time or earlier every day.
Right. So going back to that thing with the 5 stars of fitness, one of them is sleep. Okay, what we're finding out is the snooze button might be the worst thing ever invented for human beings, because what we've discovered is something called sleep inertia. And so when you set an alarm to get you up at a specific time, it wakes you up, you wake up, you pull yourself out of your sleep rhythm and hit snooze. And then you try to put yourself back into sleep rhythm for 7 minutes. Why? And I don't understand. Like, why
I've heard with like ones are odd numbers like 9. So like I'd know somebody who would set their alarm for like 8:51 and then they'd hit snooze and then it'd go off again at 9. Like,
I don't understand.
I don't know why they do odd numbers. Like
I don't.
that
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, the amount of time it takes you to go into and through a sleep cycle is much longer than any snooze button you're going to hit.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, now you're getting shocked over and over and over again out of the middle of a sleep cycle,
Okay.
which is horrible for your brain. Your
Mm-hmm.
brain just does not deal with that well. So the idea is you're going to set one alarm,
Mm-hmm.
get up, shut it off, and make your bed.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've done that, and you're going, and you're moving, right? The other thing about getting up the same time every day, like everybody's like, oh, you should go to bed at the same time every day.
Mm-hmm.
There's some argument to be made for that. But if you get up at the same time every day,
Mm-hmm.
it's actually easier for your body to establish more of a rhythm throughout the day, and then you'll end up establishing a regular bedtime because your body hits fatigue,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
The other reason that you do that is if you study the most successful people in the world, not all of them, but most of them
Mm-hmm.
get up not only at the same time every day, and I'm talking about every day,
Mm-hmm.
Sunday to Sunday. So don't get up the same time Monday through Friday, sleep in on Saturday, and then get up a little earlier on Sunday.
Mhm.
No. If you get up at 6 a.m. Monday through Friday, you're getting up at 6 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
Just to keep that rhythm flowing.
Yeah.
Okay. What we're finding is that morning period of time, and if you're a parent, you get this, is the only time you have for you to
Yep.
clear your head, maybe like reflect on the day the day before,
Mm-hmm.
think about what am I going to accomplish in the day to come.
Mm-hmm.
You can set yourself up for which is the next rule, a gratitude practice,
Mm-hmm.
which will actually again start to alter your brain chemistry. Like it all works together, and it gives you a chunk of time to do that,
Yeah.
right? Also, if you're somebody who's like, oh, I struggle to get up, okay, so when you start this challenge, you're getting up with the first alarm at 5 a.m., right, every
Mm-hmm.
day. The first day you do that, it's going to be hard,
Yeah.
okay? You get up at 5. By the time you hit bedtime, whatever that looks like for you, okay? So if you go to bed at 10, by the time you get to 10, if you got up at 5, you're going to be a little more tired,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
So let's say it's a weird day. You get up at 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
And normally you're somebody who stays up until midnight. Okay, do that.
That sucks.
You still have to get up at 5,
Yeah.
which means that by the end of that next day, you're going to bed at 9.
Yeah.
You're going to be wrecked.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to force you into a more steady sleep rhythm
Mhm.
rather than trying to discipline yourself to shut off the TV and put down the phone and
Mhm.
close the email and get yourself ready for bed.
Yeah.
If you just force yourself to get up in the morning, your body's going to start doing that on the back end
Mm-hmm.
by itself.
Okay.
So, yep.
All right. Number 9, journal at least 3 things each day you are grateful for.
So that can be, there's a couple ways you can do this. I have taken to actually writing them out in a journal.
Yeah.
I did it for a while, just like typing it into my Instagram stories, like
Mhm.
5 things, boom. And it was pretty cool, and it made me think about it. But there's something about the connection of actually handwriting it
Yeah.
on paper. There just is. And so I'm going to continue to do that. But you've got to do some kind of gratitude practice, whether it's taking a quick video and putting it in your social media stories, whether it's actually writing in a journal and just
Mhm.
keeping it for you, whatever that looks like. The amount of research out there that supports people who practice gratitude intentionally, not
Mhm.
like somebody does something for you and you're like, oh, hey, thanks.
Right.
Like when you do a gratitude practice, the rules are you cannot repeat something you've already been grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
Like day 1, I was thankful for my wife. I don't get to use that again. Like in my list on day 1, I was thankful for coffee
Mm-hmm.
because I love coffee.
Yeah.
Let's just be real, right? I don't get to use that again. And what happens is the stock standard stuff. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my mom. I'm thankful for my dad. That stuff that list runs out real fast. And
Yeah.
now you've got to start thinking about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And what it does is it actually starts to change the way you think about the things you're not necessarily grateful for.
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
So for me, I do not enjoy folding and putting away laundry.
Well, does anybody really enjoy that? Or
Yes.
okay.
My wife loves putting away laundry.
She needs to come to my house.
But it's because she spent so many years working in retail,
Uh-huh.
and so for her, like it's a shut off brain, fold clothes, very cathartic thing for her.
Okay.
I'm that way with mowing the lawn. I grew up doing landscape maintenance, stuff like that. I will mow your lawn like any day of the week.
Okay.
I love it. It's like because it's you know it's downtime for me. Like my brain can
Therapeutic
process
in a
it.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So you got to find things like that. Like I don't like folding laundry.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I be like now? I'm like okay, I've run out of things that I'm actually grateful for. How can I be thankful for and grateful for something that I don't necessarily enjoy?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So for my example, like I don't enjoy folding laundry.
Mm-hmm.
But I sure am grateful I have clothes and a washer and dryer
Yeah.
to be able to do that.
Have a dresser, something to be able to put it in.
I have a closet.
Yeah.
I have a house that contains that closet and that dresser and that washer and dryer and all my clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Like now, that one thing you weren't grateful for turns into 10 things you are grateful for
Yeah.
because of that one thing that's mildly inconvenient.
Yeah.
And it starts to flip how you look at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like the number one thing that I think that I talk to people that they hate is traffic. They hate the traffic. Hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's fair. Traffic sucks.
Yeah.
What about the traffic can you be grateful for? Because eventually you're going to come to a point where like you're doing your gratitude practice and you're stuck for like 10 minutes and you're like, crap, I got to go to work. Oh, crap, the traffic. Oh, I should be thankful for the traffic. Why?
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be personal for everybody else.
Yeah.
What that ends up doing is now it goes back to those connection points. Now when I connect to other people, the people that annoy me, I'm going to be grateful for them
Mm-hmm.
in some way. It doesn't mean I enjoy that thing or that person anymore.
Right.
But at least I have an appreciation for what they are. And it just changes you
Mhm.
and how you look at stuff. And you're less mad about stuff. And you're less, like when you get frustrated, you're frustrated for shorter amounts of time.
Right.
It's just good for you.
Well, it's like you never know what another person is going through. Like it's just like making that again that personal interaction or connection with them. Where like, oh well, maybe they're trying to get to the hospital and they're stuck in traffic. Like I'm
Right.
grateful that I'm not in that much of a rush and being stuck.
Right.
Like it's just trying to make those connections. Like look at the positive side of it. Like it could be worse. Somebody else does have it worse than you, and
And it sounds so cheesy. It's, well, you got to look on the bright side. No, you really kind of do.
yeah,
Like, we all have to deal with the reality of the hard things of life.
Yeah.
And you should. And you should deal with that very seriously.
mm-hmm.
But that does not mean that in that moment you can't find a reason to be grateful for something.
yeah,
And it will allow you to assess those situations, those hard, difficult, crappy situations from a different viewpoint.
right.
And it just makes life better.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. All right, last rule, number 10. Take a progress picture each day.
So this kind of goes along with the weight loss, body transformation thing.
Mm-hmm.
But what I suspect is going to happen is when you take your first progress pic. So standing in the mirror, hold the phone to the side, like take a full body,
Mm-hmm.
like in your gym shorts picture,
Mm-hmm.
right? Let's be clear, ladies, let's wear a sports bra,
At least.
at least.
Yes.
Okay, shorts and a sports bra. Some dudes, no, I'm kidding.
I want to go Fight Club here.
Right. So you're taking a progress pic. Over 100 days, if you're staying disciplined with water, working out,
Diet.
diet, like you're-
Grateful. Being grateful too. Like that'll take stress weight.
Mhm. So you're going to notice a physical change in your body,
Mm-hmm.
which is just fun to see.
Yeah.
What I suspect we're going to see is a change in posture. We're going to see a change in demeanor. Because you can tell, like if somebody takes a picture of themselves, you can tell almost what mood they're in when they take
Yeah.
that picture. Like you can just feel how that person felt,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So you take that progress picture every day, And I suspect over that 100 days, we're going to start to see people's demeanors change. So it's not just the physical thing.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to see in yourself and in other people the emotional change in something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. It's the way we're going to kind of document this journey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you do a gratitude practice and you're doing it like in your Snapchat stories, that disappears, right?
Right.
I mean, you can set it to keep it in the camera roll or whatever. But
Yeah, but I feel like that'd be harder to keep track of rather than just turning to a page. Like, I mean, at least I would recommend writing it down just because then it makes, just like when you have goals, if you write it down, that makes it more real.
Right.
Like, if you write down what you're grateful for, that makes it more real that you're grateful for it. Like, at least that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. It really is.
Yeah, and so and then like I said, when you can't repeat something, you can go back and be like, oh, I already used this, or just try.
I actually did that yesterday. I did 2 days in a row. I did the same thing because I had the same thought.
Oh, okay.
And then I wrote it down and I went, wait, I think I just did that.
Right, and so
I did that yesterday.
Yeah, just like if you write it down, then maybe you'd make that connection a lot faster than like typing it out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's a great point.
Yeah, so I mean, at least I would definitely recommend writing out those grateful journal entries, whether it's on a piece of paper or a little scrap thing that you found in your car.
Yeah. Guys, composition notebook is like $4 at Walmart.
Not even. There's some for like 99 cents.
Oh, yeah. Notebook. Yeah, those spiral ruled.
Yeah.
Come on. 99 cents. You can't get a 99-cent notebook.
If you really need a notebook, let us know.
Yeah. I'll buy you a notebook.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on.
We'll just start stocking them.
Right.
Just like the schools.
So here's the thing. The 100 Days of Excellence. You got to follow those 10 rules. They're all very simple. Now, we took time to explain why and what and all that stuff like that, but they're 10 very simple rules. We'll go back over them here in a second. If you take this challenge for 100 days, you must follow all 10 rules, no compromises, no substitutions, no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, and no moral victories. Like, there's no moral victory in making it 20 days.
And then cheating.
Or falling off or forgetting.
Yeah.
No. This is a commitment to excellence. And this is the conversation before we started the podcast. Like, my idea of excellence, the thing I envision in my head of excellence is like French knights, right? And the reason I use French is because they're kind of like the epitome of like gentlemen's and being like staunch and posh in those social settings, right? Like they're the most presented, the most proper, pinkies up,
exactly
kind of people. They really are,
yeah,
right? Especially from that era,
yeah.
Like the British have the same thing as well, so I would probably throw them in there. But just for whatever reason, the immediate thing I thought of was like a French like fencer. Like,
okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you think that, and you think like, man, those people are just like uber excellent,
yeah,
like all the time, right? Like they're put together. Like they wear 19 layers of clothes and it's perfectly put on, and they speak perfectly, and they just stand and just everything up. Like, you're wow, right? On the flip side of that, like they were ready for battle.
Yeah.
Like the code of chivalry had a lot to it, and how they had to act on the social side of things, how they interacted with other people, how they treated other people. But the other part of the code of chivalry was you had to be battle ready at all times. And the people who earned knighthood early on, when the knighthood started to fall apart, that had other implications.
Right.
Early on, if you earned knighthood, it's because you upheld that social setting, but then you also like it was a mark of don't mess with that dude.
Yeah.
Those men were ready for battle, and this is not to the exclusion of women. Like then it was, yes,
right.
Women weren't allowed in battle, but what I'm saying is in this moment, like ladies, like hold yourself to that standard. Be at that standard in a social setting, but like it's like what is it? Is it make civil the mind, but make savage the body? Yeah. Right. That's the idea. Like absolute excellence in everything you do. Yeah. Be ready for social. Be ready for interaction. Be ready for business, but also be ready for battle.
Right. It's how you represent yourself. Like this is what you're trying to change. Like it's how people view you. Like, you don't want somebody to view you as, oh, well, they're not very nice, or they're kind of put offy, or anything like that. Like, that's just being a kinder person. Like, it's just like we were talking about this last week about the athletes, like professional athletes nowadays, and how they represent themselves, like getting in trouble with the law and doing all that kind of stuff. Like, they're not representing themselves very well, let alone the league.
Right.
So, like, be excellent and represent even just yourself in a better way.
Right. Exactly. So the idea behind this is, so if you commit to this for 100 days, you're going to follow all 10 rules.
Mm-hmm.
If you break even one,
Just a little bit.
Even just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if your diet says no pizza, no donuts, and you have a bite of pizza, you have failed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If you're supposed to drink 100 ounces of water a day and you drink 98 ounces, you failed.
Right.
Like, I want to make that very clear. Like, these rules are hard and fast.
Yeah.
There's no playing around here.
Mm-hmm.
If you fail one, you start over at day one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go 99 days, perfect, and you screw up even a little bit, you start over at day one.
Yeah.
And there's no like, well, at least I made it 99 days.
That's a moral victory.
That's a moral victory. That's not how that goes. You didn't prove to yourself
That you could go 100 days.
that you could make it 100 days. And this goes back into something that, like, the whole self-esteem movement, right? Like, well, we got to have good self-esteem. Like, you can't have
Here's
self-esteem.
your participation ribbon.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't have self-esteem unless you've done something worthy of esteem.
Right.
If the challenge says to be perfect for 100 days and you're perfect for 99 and screw up one, you didn't make it.
Right.
And you don't get a participation trophy
Yeah.
for it. You either do or you don't.
There is no try.
There is no try.
Thank you, Yoda.
Yes. Yoda. All right. Now, so there's some other rules to this too. If during the 100 days you quit,
Mm-hmm.
you're out. Like, if you're in the group and you decide, dude, I can't do it, you're out.
Yeah, there's no comeback.
If you want to come back in, you and I are going to have a discussion about whether or not I'm going to allow you
Right.
back into the group.
Mhm.
You can take the challenge on your own. That's fine.
Yeah.
But there's no quitting. If you commit, you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Period. If you fall off the wagon, that's what the community is for.
Right.
To hold you back up when you start over at day one.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's going to suck.
Yeah.
Okay? But if you quit, you're out. If you fail 3 times, we're going to ask you to step away for 3 months, get your mind right,
Mm-hmm.
decide whether or not this is something that you really are going to commit yourself to.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll have a conversation about bringing you back into the group.
Okay.
Okay? Because if you fail 3 times at this, you probably weren't committed in the first place.
Right. Like we've said before, lessons not learned in blood are soon forgotten.
That's true.
So, like, if you failed a one time, did you truly learn your lesson? You'll find out if you continue to fail, especially if it's at the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you're failing like 3 times at your diet, then maybe you need to have a conversation with a nutritionist, with you. Why am I failing at this diet? What is this diet actually going to work for me? Do I need to try something else? Like, you really need to have a conversation with somebody if you're failing that much.
Exactly. So, like, what I want people to understand is I want people to be better.
Yeah.
I believe in people. I really do. I have met so many people over 15 years of being in the fitness industry that
Mm-hmm.
like they start working out, and as I get to know them, or even when I first meet them, you can tell they don't believe in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't believe that they're capable of anything good. They don't
Mm-hmm.
believe that they're capable of doing anything more than just barely living life.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't. What I know about people and what I have seen in people, including myself, is we have incredible capacity to do really amazing things. And all the people that we look at that have accomplished amazing things, right? Like, we look at the world of sports, and we look at somebody like Tom Brady and Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
LeBron James, and like all of those people, like, they've done amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
I could never be them. Okay, but do you really want to be them?
Yeah.
Like, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
But maybe you're supposed to be that good at something else.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you look at the titans of business. We talked about Warren Buffett and Bill Gates and
Steve
Jobs. Thank you. I was going to say the Apple dude. Jack Ma, who's the founder of Alibaba, which is like
Okay.
Chinese Amazon.
Okay.
That's basically what it is.
Okay.
Right? And there's another guy, Jeff Bezos.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do we really want to be those dudes? Maybe,
But not necessarily.
but not necessarily, right?
Mhm.
Like anybody that you look at, no matter what realm, like they committed themselves to excellence and they achieved things that we didn't know if they were possible,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like 5 years ago, we didn't believe that curing type 2 diabetes was possible.
Mm-hmm.
Now we see it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, so if there's something in your life that you're like, I'll never insert whatever that is, you'll never because you have that thought.
Yeah.
And it's because you haven't established any level of credibility with yourself that says that you're capable of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a challenge like this is designed to do. Commit to 100 days. 10 rules for 100 days. And none of these are difficult in and of themselves.
Right.
Following through for 100 days, that's difficult.
Mm-hmm. That's the real challenge.
That's the real challenge. Because you know what? As we went through this list, I bet there's somebody out there who said we read 10 pages a day. And they're like, I read a book every 3 days.
Right.
Well, good for you.
Then that's not the one you're going to have an issue with.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I bet you're going to struggle working out 45 minutes a day every
Outside,
single day.
too.
And then have outside.
Because usually,
events.
like I said, the people who are reading that much a day are usually inside.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
The idea here is to push yourself outside your comfort zone. Put yourself in a situation where you might fail
Mm-hmm. Make yourself uncomfortable.
and do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you do it anyway, every day you do it is another, like it's a notch on the belt. Like, okay, I did it. And you can build the steam of getting it done.
Yeah.
Okay? There are people who are going to hear this challenge and go, dude, there's no way I could ever do that. I would those are the people I want to take this challenge.
Yes.
Those are the people that I want to take it. And I want you to take it and take it seriously. Because here's the thing. If you make it through 100 days and you're that person, like, dude, I don't know if I could ever do that. You're the person who I would say this to. And this is something that the guy that came up with the framework for this challenge, his name's Andy Frisella.
Mm-hmm.
He does a challenge called 75 Hard. His only has 5 rules and it's only 75 days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He's doing it for a different reason. He's got a bigger platform and all that other stuff. He's
Right.
a brilliant dude. He's pretty abrasive, so he's not always for everybody.
Yeah.
But he's a brilliant dude. One of the things that he said years ago on his podcast was that the work comes before the belief.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at a challenge like this and you say, there's no way I could ever do that. You don't believe you ever could.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a part of you that wants to take the challenge. Okay, take the challenge and do the work.
Right.
And if you do the work, if you commit to doing the work, 10 days in, you're going to go, yeah, okay, but we'll see how long I make it. And then 20 days in, you're still on the wagon. 30 days in, you're still on the wagon. 50 days in, you're still on the wagon. 75 days in, you're still on the wagon. You're going to start believing.
Yeah.
And you're not going to start believing in the program. Because there's no magic about this.
Right.
You're going to start believing in you because you're the one doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point behind something like this.
Well, and what's nice about this too is like it takes 21 days to form a habit, especially with you not taking any breaks on the weekend or not having those cheat days allowed where like, oh, okay, I missed one day. I'll start again on Monday type of thing. Like this is going to form habits for you. Good, healthy habits.
Mm-hmm.
Not even just physically healthy, but like mentally healthy and personally healthy by interacting with other people. Like you're going to form good habits.
Yep. All right. So so by Friday, so when this podcast drops, there's going to be a Facebook group up. The rules will be in the Facebook group. My challenge, my 100 days, starts on April 22nd and will go to July 31st. That's 100 days.
Okay.
So from April 22nd to July 31st, we're committing to these 10 rules straight through. So you got the weekend to get your crap together. That means picking a diet. That means picking a book. That means setting yourself up for success for these 10 rules.
That means getting rid of all of that bad food that's going to tempt you in your cabinet.
Yep.
Or, I mean, I don't care how you get rid of it.
Give it away or throw it away.
Fine.
Seriously. That's
Don't want to just gorge it real quick.
I mean, if you want to do that, you can. It's just
going to try to get it out of the way.
That's going to make Monday real hard.
Yes, it will. But hey, that's part of the challenge, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Starting is always going to be the hardest part.
Right? The hardest lift of your life is your ass off the couch.
That's true.
So, all right. So we are right just over an hour on this, guys. So really quick, do you want to review the 10 rules?
All right. Rule number 1, drink at least 100 ounces of water per day. Number 2, read 10 pages in a personal development book per day. Tell the group what book you're reading each time you start a new book. Number 3, work out at least 45 minutes each day, and 3 days per week must be outside. Number 4, choose a diet and stick to it. No cheat days or cheat meals. Number 5, no alcohol, weed, or drugs. Number 6, no porn. Number 7, make your bed every day, first thing. Number 8, get up at the same time or earlier every day. Number 9, journal at least 3 things each day you are grateful for. And number 10, take a progress picture each day.
All right. So there's the 10 rules. The Facebook group will be up and live on Friday when this podcast drops. So if you want to do the challenge after listening to the podcast, you'll be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll also put links in the Facebook group to the podcast for those folks that end up joining the Facebook group and haven't listened to the podcast yet. So,
Okay.
TJ.
Yes.
First one.
Yay!
How's it feel?
It wasn't as bad as I was expecting, honestly.
That's usually how it goes. All right. Thanks, TJ.
Thank
See you guys
you.
next time.
Everywhere.